Greetings and salutations. Everybody take a little pushback from the desk, take a deep breath, and sigh and relax. It has been a morning. Good morning, everybody. And let's see what live thing I forgot to silence there. Okay, I got it. And basically, my name is Roland Takaoka. This is the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. I don't know just how smart we are or what kind of a good representation of that word we are today, but we are trying. And today will be a little bit out of the norm because I don't have a total concept of a couple, three things that I want to present to you today, but we do have some things to present you. And it will be interesting, and we'll see what you people think. So I've been promising for a long time we're going to present Google Slides and show you what that's all about. So we will do that. And we've decided to take a good stab at trying unified chat to see exactly how good a system this is. And we are doing that. And other than that, we have some of our crews missing today. We have also an addendum invitation to Roland, who happened to be around and able to join us. So let's meet everybody in the green room, and we'll start with the person that you don't get to see today other than her icon, and that's my co-host of the show, Smarties, Molly Youngblood Geiger, and we're going to hear her voice if we can't see her more than her icon. Say hi, Molly.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I just am not camera ready today, so it's one of those things going to happen this morning. But I didn't want to miss the event, so I'm here. I'm live. I'm here to answer questions and get some feedback on the topics we're going to be talking about today.
Cool. And basically, Molly's got a kid, and she's got a bad hair day. So we get to look at her icon, and we'll leave it at that. But thank you for being with us. I appreciate that. And also joining us at spur of the moment invitation is Lowell Ann Fulsang, a member of the Google Plus community and more. She has her own show on Tuesdays, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about that. Lowell Ann, say hi, please.
Well, good morning, everyone. And I'm so excited because I just before we got live, I figured out how to do this unified chat thing. It looks great. So I will have some questions about this as time goes on. But yes, I like to work with solopreneurs, and one of the things that I do for them is my Tuesday morning Being Your Own CEO. It's a live streaming chat now. I can't say it's a Google Hangout anymore. So, and we've been experimenting a lot about all the changes and trying new things, etc. So I really appreciate being here, Roland, and being part of your experimentation.
No, you're very welcome because you make some very astute observations, and you have contributed a lot to the series of experiments leading to this point. And by no means are we done doing this, because somewhere during the presentation I will bring up a subject that Karen notified me on early this morning. I'm having a bad hair day myself. But Karen V. Chin, one of our other constituents from my normal green room, showed me this program that's come up from, well, it's connected to Facebook, but it's initiated by a company called Blue Jeans something or other, and it's linked to the program that's a subscription-based program called Primetime. And if you are a Primetime subscriber, one of the new addendums or apps that are available to be used online is a live streaming feature that is offered to Facebook. They've been using it for corporate purposes and stuff for a while, and they consider it a many-to-many broadcasting system. In other words, Hangouts on air, recorded, are a many-to-many broadcast system. In other words, we can have up to 10 people in the green room, so 10 people in the film strip talking to as many people who will watch and interact and engage as possible. So they're talking like, yeah, this is the cutting edge and everything else. And it very well might be. It might be the new thing that replaces Hangouts on Air. But it seems to me that it is not free. So it is still a subscription-based concept. And so that's going to do two things. It's going to limit who can use it. It's going to make it somewhat exclusive. And it's going to limit the outreach, because that's kind of niche-like. So if they cross that barrier, because they are linking with Facebook, they may develop the audience that's pretty universal. But being a paid subscription, not everybody can do it. So from the beginner standpoint, or from the newbie marketer, we might still be looking at YouTube and the Google God, I got to break myself of the habit. The Hangouts on YouTube Live still might be the best answer for a beginning marketer or a business person. So, and in the long run, if it's as good as or pretty close to what Facebook and the primetime network will be delivering, why not do it for free? So eventually, if I make my $1 million, I might very well be a constituent on the primetime network and using the Facebook Live medium as a way of delivering this show or other shows or whatever. But right now, this still is the best free opportunity that a marketer has. So here we are in Hangouts. I really appreciate the people coming over here. Bill Graham, Lon McClure's been here since 9 o'clock. And let's see who else is. Wee Wake, of course, is out here in the audience. He's helping us out from afar. And that's all that's watching at the moment. There are apparently 6 users. Let's see who we can see is lurking out there. Yeah, that's most of the people, and as far as I'm concerned, that's enough, and it allows us to do some experimenting today. So, the initial experiment, by the way, I want to know if people are going through this. I don't know. We are approaching a lunar eclipse. Now, this happens maybe twice a year or something like that, if I have my information correct from my astrologer. And I am not superstitious in the normal sense of the word. Okay, I don't cross my fingers and do all kinds of antics when something happens. But I do a lot of thinking, and I do believe that we create our own reality on almost every sense of the word. So people will look at me and say, "Oh, Roland's superstitious." Well, if you want to think I'm superstitious, that's fine. But I'm a different kind of superstitious than you think of, because I am no victim. And a person that studies superstition is a studier of victimization. Because if you have a superstition about something, it's like how something else on the external world affects you versus how you integrate with the universe and interrelate and work with the energies that are happening, not just be a victim of everything else in the universe and call deal your woe is me card. I just can't handle that. So anyway, for the people who are not victims, you can listen to this show and enable yourself and empower yourself to succeed. So one of the things that we've been dealing with is this new concept that we're all piling on here for, called unified chat. Now, the reason that I went this direction from other opportunities is, number one, events from Google are going away. I think we've got 2 more days before they say, and that's it. And so I've been gone for almost 2 weeks now, and everybody's making the transition. I did want to say that those of you who know Andrew Hatchett, if you know him, or you should know him. If you don't, you should. And perhaps if either Molly or Roland might have his event page URL. We might post it in the chat so people can see that, because he has what he is calling the last event. And what he means by that is, I think, that it's going to be the last Hangout on Air that he features through the events page in Google, because after the 12th there will be no more events happening, or at least they won't be supported. I have to expect that there will be a way of backdooring the events page. However, the other half of me expects that there will be no backdoor, so it might disappear completely, and it might mean that if you don't have the URLs stacked, basically, of every event that you've ever done, or whatever events you wanted to keep, you may not have access to the pages of the events that are holding the events and the interaction and the comment streams and all that stuff that you did when you held that event and the comments that came afterwards. So there's a lot to speculate on. Personally, I'm just going to let it all go, because it was really good when it happened, and believe me, I learned a lot, and we had a lot of great experiences. But the past is the past, and here we are now. So the key to it all is, what are we taking forward with us, and how do we progress from here a little smarter than we were yesterday? And in order to do this, we have to focus on the things that were important that we had, that we can carry on as a tradition in these new modes, in these new engagement things. And the chat thing, the chat interaction featured in Google Events was about the best I've seen, and we have not been able to duplicate it. We've tried using WordPress plugins, we've tried integrating different chat things, using YouTube just completely dropped the ball on this one, and doesn't have a chat stream that is maintained after the event. So it's like all the people posting chats, and this is mostly Michael Thomas over there. Thank you, Michael. You know, he's the biggest sharer I've got. He shares and just helps us out. I really appreciate Michael. But anyway, he shares the show, he watches the show, and he's over at YouTube. And unfortunately, the conversation going over there is fun while it lasts, but it is not saved. Now, I know that the chat in Unified Chat is saved, but they don't have a good system for archiving and retrieving. So no matter what, I would advise, if you start using Unified Chat, that you save the master URL for every event, because you can always bring that URL to life by putting it in the browser and going to the event page, and then watching the event after the fact, because it's playing out of YouTube, or reviewing the comments and making comments, adding comments, even days later. So who knows? Maybe the limit is 7 days, or maybe the limit is 1 month, and it might disappear. The whole event might disappear. I don't know yet. So go ahead, Roland.
This is an opportune time to ask a question that's been on my mind since we started here.
Sure.
Because just to let everybody know, what I've been experimenting with is hosting the live event on my web page, and so the chat is not, up till now, has not been possible. So my curiosity is does this unified chat get saved along with this Hangout, or this live stream event, sorry, language, so that and will it be possible for people watching a Hangout from my web page to actually activate the comments? And if that is going to be possible, that's fabulous.
Yeah, that sounds good. I too am very interested in capturing comments on my event page, but I've always been torn between the idea of, does the comment or the interaction and the engagement have to be on the event page, or can it be secondarily on a community page or whatever, you know? Because if it's on your website, I think I'm misspeaking here. The comparison between your website and the comments and an event page or the community in your comments might be a moot point if you're developing a following that knows where to find you. And that's the main thing, is that when people know where to find you, ultimately it doesn't matter if it's your website or your community, because if they can contact you directly and say, hey, what's up, I need some help, that's the main thing. And so the website, you know, historically has been the central hub, and it's still going to be the central hub, but doesn't have to be the main point of interaction and engagement. And I've always believed so, but after a couple of years of Hangouts and various interactions online, I'm starting to question the whole concept as to whether it's the best strategy. So any ideas on that, Molly? I've had you silenced there, and I know that you're back there, so I don't want to assume that since you're not live in the picture that you're not there to say something.
No, I'm here. I'm listening to the conversation, and you know, I can understand the frustration with change. That's essentially what's going on with Hangouts right now. It's going through a growing period. I can say that my take on this is that Google will probably come out with something bigger and better than the original Hangouts, because you know, it was like we discussed last week with, you know, not being able to have the event page and not being able to have the comments and the social aspect of it, if you will, that it once had. Yeah, I mean, I could see where users would be a little bit frustrated with that, and I think it's one of those things, like I mentioned last week, I think that they're trying to use mobile as a new strategy for, you know, chatting. In terms of the new apps that they've come out with, Duo is currently live. So if you want to do a face-to-face chat via mobile, definitely recommend downloading that app. But at the same time, they're trying to use Hangouts more as a business platform and directing it towards YouTube, since we're talking about video. Well, when you talk about video, I think about YouTube, because that's the primary platform for videos.
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I understand everyone's frustration, but I think it's one of those things that if we just kind of send in our feedback and wait and see what their response to their decision has been. That's one thing I've noticed about Google is they are constantly testing things. They're constantly kind of switching them around, tweaking them, you know, trying to make improvements. And I do know that one of their focuses right now is mobile. So I think, that being said, most people using Hangouts, they don't do it for mobile. It's more of a desktop or laptop application. It's more for a presentation, like if you're presenting to a group, an audience, or maybe coworkers, or maybe you're doing some type of training. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is to distinguish the difference between a social hangout, okay, if you will, versus a business hangout. And by doing that, they're distinguishing, you know, the difference between the way we are hanging out, instead of just kind of lumping it all together under the Hangouts platform. They're trying to segment. So personally, I know this, that there are some product updates coming down the pipeline for Hangouts. They're going to be released in the next 2 to 3 months. I can't really go into what those platform updates are, but Hangouts is not going away. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm no longer worried about it. I mean, I definitely feel that I'm justified for hanging on to the concept thus far. So what we have here is a demonstration of the very best use of Hangouts and chat that I've been able to find. So today documents that and registers that as an honest vote in favor of unified chat. And you never know what's going to happen with unified chat. We might discover something soon that's really a big flaw in the concept. But right now, they are the front runner for my vote for assembling free services that would seem to work very well. And speaking of that, since we have it, I cannot share the comment on the screen without doing contortions, and I'll show you how I could do that later on in the program. But right now I wanted to cover a couple of comments that were made, and really I want to know, where is it? One of the difficulties with this program. Lon McClure, I want to know what was going on when you made the statement, I swear that Roland guy has 4 arms. Now, where in the world did you get that? Because my one arm is pretty much lame, and my other one moves pretty fast, but it certainly can't cover 4 things at once. So I want to know what you meant by that. And moving on from that, he goes, I noticed the unified chat no longer covers part of the video, so good for them fixing that. And yes, it's true. The chat itself used to cover a quarter or more of the screen on the right side as you're looking at the program. And now they've adjusted it so they see the full screen, so that's a good thing. There was another comment here that, let me find it, from a lot of good comments, by the way, and I appreciate everybody sharing this stuff. But Bill made a comment, oh yes. Wiweg, he was responding to their conversation inside there. He goes, while Google must be respected as the #1 search engine, I have found Facebook to be far better for my outreach plan than Google ever was. It is important to use groups and pages, similar to Google collections and communities, where topics are more specific and relevant to what your message is. So Bill is clarifying for me something that I've been leading to believe, but haven't experimented with yet, and that is Google pages and Google groups are basically the same as collections and communities. So there's a similar facility there for focusing your audience. And now that they're going into streaming media, they have where you can take 1 or 2 people and go live, Facebook Live, that's what it's called, and stream a live broadcast to your audience. So it remains to be seen if their notification system is effective, which according to Bill, it probably is, whatever the interaction is. I don't know whether he's doing it via posting, commenting, or video, whether he's engaged in that. I would like to know, Bill, whether you're using video in your engagement or not yet. But Facebook does have a future in that, but you just know how to, you have to know what you're dealing with. You have to know how to approach the people in Facebook. Now, as a comparison, in Google Plus, we had the most high levels of engagement on a one-to-one basis, but we had the most narrow outreach of all the social medias too. And Molly has a comment you wanted to make.
Yeah, I just wanted to weigh in really quick. I totally agree with what was said about Facebook being its own platform and it being a totally different platform. In fact, that's one thing that I've discovered through my efforts in marketing is you have to cater to your audience. And your audience may be on Facebook, they may be on Google+, they might be on LinkedIn, they might be on Twitter, they might be on Snapchat. So when you're marketing yourself on social media or digital marketing, you have to take into account all those different aspects that you have to kind of cater yourself to your audience, where they're hanging out at. And I agree with what you're saying about Google+. Google+ has several different tools, communities, collections, groups, pages, spaces. There's all different kind of tools that we can use on Google+ to market our business. But a savvy digital marketer, they're going to look at several different facets of marketing, such as social media, such as search engine marketing. And that's not to be confused with like an organic search. Organic search is a totally different topic versus search engine marketing. So when I talk about search engine marketing, I'm talking about pay per click or AdWords or Bing advertisements. So these are actually paid advertisements. And then we get into what we refer to as SEO. Okay, so we're actually marketing our website or our blog posts or our videos or our Google Plus posts to search engines like Google. So these are all different facets that have to be taken into account whenever you're marketing yourself, whether it be you as a personality or you as a business. I personally have found marketing myself as a person worked a lot more effectively than marketing my business. Because what I was able to accomplish by marketing myself as a person is I was able to associate my personality with my business. So therefore, when people learned about Molly, they learned Molly does digital marketing. She does websites. She does SEO. She does all this stuff know about in order to effectively market their business. In fact, I just picked up a recent client who they pay me to come in and rebuild their AdWords campaign and do some search engine optimization. And they heard about me through a contact who found me on LinkedIn, who approached me and said, Molly, I'd like you to come out to the TPC Clubhouse and do a presentation about what you're doing with Google. Did my presentation. I picked up a client. And that right there, the reason I'm sharing that story is a story on how, if you effectively market yourself online, person-to-person interactions offline, which will hopefully result in a paying customer.
Sounds good. I mean, people should review what you just said, because that was gold. And you want to reach in a little deeper what Molly is describing, because there's broadcasting or there's engagement. And one-way broadcasting, when you're getting your banner out there and your ad out there and doing that stuff, that's not engagement. That might be technically a small element of engagement. But to me, engagement, when you talk about engagement marketing, is you're actually meeting people one-on-one, and one-on-3, and 1-on-5, and maybe 1-on-a-dozen or more, or 2 dozen in hangouts like this. But it's a way where people can talk back to you and interact with you, and you develop a relationship. That's engagement, not just getting people to one-off respond to an ad that you're talking them into by supposedly doing your broadcast, and that's not engagement. Now, some people will disagree with me, but that's my theory.
I
Roland,
actually agree with that. Just really quick, I'm going to add to what you just said about engagement. And Google has actually changed their AdWords format to include engagement marketing. And you might wonder, well, how did they do that? Well, I'll tell you. Just recently, they've made it possible where if you click on a Google AdWords ad, you can actually text a business, or you can call a business, or they have mobile campaigns where there are specific ads that cater to mobile devices. So Google's aware of the fact that they want more than just a click delivering to a landing page. They want the user to be able to interact with that business, and that's why they're coming up with these solutions. Down the pipeline, I think we're going to see video engagement, because I know just personally, just working with them, they actually have a feature whenever I contact AdWords support, to where if I want to hang out like we're doing right now, if I want to actually do a live chat with an AdWords specialist, I can do that. So my opinion is, in the future, we will see video engagement popping up with Google AdWords as well.
Sounds good. Well, they say that video is the way that everything is going. Of course, we've known that for a few years. That's why we're doing Hangouts. And they say that by the end of 2017, 70% of everything online is going to involve video. Now, I'm not sure what that statistic pertains to, but I'm certain that a lot of more video will be watched, and I'm certain that a lot more of the live interaction of video will be used, and that's a lot of where the growth is going to be, because this live one-on-one and one-to-many and many-to-many aspects are changing. It's changing the terrain of the entire environment. So we're not going to want to miss some of these comments, and I know we're going to miss comments, but it's hard for me to run the program and also in the conversation and also watch all the comments, but there are some good ones going on. So I wanted to
just a quick idea, and to add to what you're talking about the increased usage of video, I think that actually plays into, because Google's focused on mobile, Most users, they spend most of their day on mobile devices now, and if you're doing research, because most of the time you're searching, you're looking for information. You're looking to either answer a question, or you're looking for a product or a service, or maybe you're looking to buy something specific. And so I think the reason that Google is focusing more on video and encouraging engagement marketing is because of the fact that if you've got a mobile user and they have a question, well, if they can pick up their phone and video chat with somebody, say a support desk or maybe a customer service rep, that's going to give that user information instantaneously. And they won't have to go to a website or a blog or do a chat or an email. They'll literally be able to pick up their phone and video chat with a representative and get that information that they're seeking.
Yeah, this is really good stuff. And Lowell Ann, we're going to come back to the statement that you made in a second here in the chat. But just following you, Lon McClure was saying, notice that this was happening in the chat stream. And I want these comments about the chat to find their way into the chat. So anything that you folks notice, type it out, write it out, and express what it is that you're experiencing, because we're collecting information to understand just how good an experience this is and whether it contributes effectively to a Saturday morning marketing Smarties show. We have to know these things. I mean, obviously I'm missing comment tracker extremely right now, but by the same token, there might be a way we can compensate, and I think the solution for that is on its way. So we'll see. But Lon makes a comment, no timestamps on YouTube live chat, no judgment, just an observation. So the timestamps, we can discuss the relativity of that, but usually the timestamps, other than the live show, I use to see whether or not people are engaging a day or two later, or a week later, or this type of thing. And that's mainly what I use a timestamp for. Please tell me if there's a better application to the use of timestamps during a live broadcast or before and after. So thank you, Lon, for that acknowledgement. And We Wake was saying, the engagement you are talking about, Roland, is what happens in real life. One-way engagement blasts an army. Wait a minute. One-way engagement happens when an army goes out and blasts the enemy. We call that engaging. Well, that's a different subject in a different environment, and I agree with you, We Wake. But the analogy is that a lot of marketers are blasting the client. They're blasting the viewer, and they think that the more that they expose the ad and make the ad the smiling, friendly face of the puppy dog and the inviting CTA, that more people will click on it. But in the marketplace, the odds are getting less and less and less that system works. 80% of social media constituents outwardly reject ads. So if you're going to use ads, you have to do it carefully. And more ads are getting more and more friendly. Some of the ads that are going out there don't even mention the product. The ad itself is all about the puppy dog and the relationship and the thing that captures people's attention and entertains them and gets them happy about something, and they smile. And that's the ad. And then they walk away and they say, oh yeah, I saw this really cute commercial today. And they discuss it and they're smiling and they say, yeah, but what were they selling? It's like, oh, I don't know, it was by Pepsi, or I don't know, it was by so-and-so company. And what they're doing is they're branding their brand with good feelings.
Emotional
exactly.
Marketing. It's actually
exactly.
terminology for that called emotional marketing.
Although I'm not a professor of emotional marketing, it's something that I can't and no one should ignore, because it's the emotion that either connects you to the people and them to you or not. If there's no movement of emotion, you're dust. As a marketer, you're dust. You might walk away friends, but unless they're emotionally involved, there's no draw or a reason to be attracted back to you. So let's recap something of regarding this, because I want people to comment if they're willing. And Molly, you just Now, you know, Molly, when you type these internal messages, I can't possibly read that before it goes away. So was there something that you wanted to add to
Yeah,
our...
I just wanted to touch base on emotional marketing, why it's so important, and why, as a marketer, it's a very savvy strategy to use. This actually came up in the Google Partners community, oh gosh, a couple years ago. There was a thread about, well, why should we consider emotional marketing? And it's because it creates a feeling with that person. It could be a feeling of being happy, being sad, being concerned, being scared, fear. That's a that's a big motivational thing with people. If they're afraid of something, or maybe I should do something about it. So, in terms of emotional marketing, there's several different strategies behind it, but essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to connect with that person on an emotional level, because when you connect with the person on an emotional level, they're going to remember it because they had that connection of that emotion with that particular brand or service. So I just quickly wanted to touch upon, check out emotional marketing. It definitely is a very savvy strategy as a marketer.
Sounds good. By the way,
all buying decisions are made on the emotional level.
That's right. And when I'm consulting with people regarding their websites, I basically say to them, and they're asking me, well, the conversion rate, and monitor this and that. Is like, there's nothing to monitor. They're not going to click through on this. They say, what do you mean? The button's there, and this is there, and I've got my CTA. I said, there's absolutely no feeling about why the people would ever click that button. If they don't have a reason to click the button, reason to read your information, they're not going to click the button. So a CTA is worthless unless you are valuable before people get to the button. So it's something to remember. I'm trying to drill it into people all the time. You should be focused on the product and service you're offering, and make sure that you're offering something of value to the people before you come and ask me to start marketing and sell more of what you shouldn't be selling in the first place.
Well,
so,
and to add to that, I mean, there is actually a science between emotional marketing. There is a wheel of emotions that was generated by a fellow named Robert Plutchik, and it goes over all the different layers and all the different types and combinations that people have emotions about. So it's one of those things that we want the brand to be able to be trusted, and we want the information within the emotional marketing to be shared, because when we're able to connect with the person on that level, whether it be anger, trust, sad, happy, fearful, appreciative, there's so many different levels, and they all intertwine with one another. So I invite you to check out the emotional the wheel of emotions, because it really gains some insights on some emotions that maybe you hadn't considered using within your marketing.
We will curtail this conversation because that could eat up the rest of today and next week too. But I tell you what, we're going to have a session of Smarties just on this subject, because it's very important. In the meantime, I wanted to comment that Bill Graham added to the comment stream, Roland and Molly, I just get tired of hearing people, Google users, slamming Facebook as being fake and only for family crap. Well, I agree with you, Bill, but I also disagree. Well, the fact that we hammer Facebook is because of the approach that we've had to marketing. But from day one, I've said, you can Facebook market, but you just have to know how to do it. And if you do it wrong, in the way 80 or 90% of the people are doing it, you're going to get lacking results. So it's a completely different marketing way of system, and it certainly wasn't mine, but it sounds to me like you found a good way to integrate. And he says, I use Facebook to market myself as a person with unbiased information. I get several 100% more engagement on Facebook. So you found a niche, you found a way that works on Facebook, and I applaud you. But the goal is to bring them back to my website, and with much more success. I concentrate on Google search to make sure my website is found in search. And his field of engagement seems to be Facebook. And that's a good thing. So I've always known that I'm going to have to be bleeding into Facebook, but it's just not the modus operandi or the good feeling that I had in my start with Google Plus. And I wish I could make that last longer. But the environment is what the environment is. And if I stay in Google Plus, I have a limited outreach. No matter what I do, I have a limited outreach. So we've got to start looking higher up and get the bigger overview of what's going on. Bill also mentions that timestamps help replay watchers know what the time comment was made, so they can go back in the video and gain relevance. So that's a good point. When you have the timestamp and you go into YouTube and you mark the times, you can literally SEO a video by making mentions of certain content in certain places that are searchable. And that's a really good point, Bill. Thank you. And the comments continue, mostly Lon and Bill and We Wake, and I thank you for that. But we're going to move on right now because it's been 3 weeks since I wanted to do this thing with mobile slides and Google Slides in the slide show, and so we're finally going to go there and try it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can access the stuff that I wanted to present to you.
And Roland, while you're doing that, I'm going to just quickly interject and just kind of give kind of an overview of what Google Slides are in case some of our audience members are not familiar. So Google has a suite of tools under a platform called Google Drive. Google Drive essentially is it's an online cloud storage platform that houses several products such as Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and Forms. And so initially, when I started using these tools, I had kind of an adjustment period because I was really used to using Microsoft Word, Excel, spreadsheet, PowerPoint presentations. And it was through my experience in working with Googlers, they use all that stuff. So I was kind of forced to, to start using those tools. And as I acclimated myself to them, I actually saw the value of using those tools versus an offline method. One of the main ones was the fact that with any of those products, it automatically saves it. So I know in past presentations and slides and spreadsheets and things of that nature, there's always that fear factor of, well, if I don't save it, I'm going to lose all that data. And I've done this before. I'll be in a slide presentation or a sheet or a doc, and I'll close it out accidentally, and I still to this day go, oh, I lost all my data. I didn't save it. And then I realized, oh no, it's okay. It automatically saved it for me. So I think if I had to say the #1 feature that I like about slides is the fact that if you're doing a slide presentation, it will automatically save everything. Another thing I really like about slides is the fact that you can use video in slides. We were just talking about video, how important it is. I've actually done a few presentations myself in slides, and I chose that platform because of the fact that I could include a video in that presentation. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, and let's take a look at your resource that you have.
Okay. Thank you very much, Molly, and I appreciate that general layout of what slides are. And it's a free app and a free conglomeration of things that Google offers and offers to the world for free. And it's competitive with the concept of PowerPoint. And indeed, I think that they're interchangeable in some respects. You can import a PowerPoint presentation and play it right within the Google Slides platform. So anyway, I'm going to share with you a basic slideshow in preparation. And this is if you go to, well, basically, if I were in the my Google Drive and I open this up, I can prepare a slideshow, any kind of a slideshow, and that's another subject for another day. And if I double click on it, it opens it up to this. And then once I'm in the format, you can see I have slides so that I can present that and say, Google Slides Q&A, testing, feedback, and assessment of the application, which is what we're doing in this segment right here. So once we're in there, you can go through a whole series of the next slide, the next slide, the next slide, and so forth, as many as you have. But this isn't actually the format that we show this presentation. So let's see if I can show you what happens. when you go to present, right over here, and I'm really shortcutting a lot of different things that you can do. Obviously, when you get into the slide itself, it's all editable. You can change what's going on just like any type format. If I want to change that down there, I just click in and go. So it takes a little practice, but it's very easy. But inevitably, when I'm ready to present, let's see if it'll show this on the screen when I present. So it says slide 1. And then if I actually click on this, it'll go to slide 2. And my controls down here will allow me to go back to slide 1 and do that. But there's a thing called a presenter view. And when I have the presenter view, I basically can take a control panel that pops out, and I'm unable to actually show this to you because it's not part of the browser. But it pops out and allows me to start a new conversation. Oh, or continue recent. I'd forgotten about that. Basically, if I continue with a comment stream that I did earlier, I can show you a stream that is already in existence. And so hang on one second while I'm actually going to take the comment stream that I'm talking about, and I'm going to post it in the comment stream inside the unified chat stream. And when you click on this, it is going to open up a new tab in a browser and take you to the comment stream in the slideshow itself. So if you'd like to go there, feel free. Hopefully you can still hear my voice, and we can deal with what I'm trying to accomplish there. But basically the slideshow, these slides produce this integrated app that allows people to comment in a downward stream. And as you do that, you can see one of the things, question, do slides Q&A have a definite value for use in Hangouts? And then what I encourage everybody to do when you get to this page, and by the way, if you guys would comment in the comment stream of the unified chat page, let me know if you click on this link or copy and paste the link into a browser, whether it allow you onto the page where the Q&A session is being held. And at this point of the Smarties show, it's very important that I get a few people to go and look at this page. So otherwise I'll be talking to you and you'll be saying, well, what is he talking about? So does the link work, Roland?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so
now wait a second. I copied the link and put it into a browser. I don't know if it's a link.
It's not a live link.
It's not a live link.
In other words, if you try to click on it, you can't. So you've got to copy paste it into a browser.
Yeah.
And go to the page. But once you do, you go to the page that says this. And I'm just waiting now if people go there. Lon, go ahead and make a comment if you would. I'd like you to, so that I just kind of stay out of the picture for the moment. And I'd like you to make a comment. And once you do, it'll show up and you'll see how the comment feeds into the stream there. Because what I predict is that the other comments in the lineup don't have any thumbs up or thumbs down votes. And if that's the case, then Lon's comment should pop in either at the bottom of the stream. Oh, there's one from Bill. There's one from We Wake on the bottom there too. And interestingly, there is a time stamp on this, so that we know that the last comment flows to the bottom. So if I'm previewing these after I make a comment, I had to scroll to the bottom apparently to see what the most recent comment is.
That's the part that makes it not very useful, because if you want to add a comment, you have to scroll up to the top. Yeah. But all of the comments are posted at the bottom.
Right. But the important thing is the comments that are or that is the questions. And I say comments because I really don't think everyone's going to keep to asking questions. Although, as an administrator, I might sort this or pay attention to only those submissions that are questions, because the real use of this featured program is to say, well, what do you think of the questions that are being asked? And since I have one thumbs up, and it was probably my own, since I have one thumbs up, it rises to the very top, to the bottom of the stack. Now it says new top questions show.
So that's what the.
Now let's see. Apparently, okay, there's one vote on WeWake's question or statement.
That was me. I clicked the thumbs up just to see what would happen.
Okay, and now I'm going to do something here that is going to change things, and I'm going to thumbs up WeWake's comment so that he's got two. Now I'm assuming that we're going to get a notification, new top comments, and even if we don't get that little notification, I'm actually going to refresh my browser real quick because that's faster. And I'll tell you what I see. WeWake's question rises to the top because he's got two thumbs up and mine only had one. And then yours had one also. So like if I up yours, excuse me, I didn't mean it quite like that.
Right.
If I give you a thumbs up on yours, that makes you two thumbs up, me one thumb up, and now WeWake's got three, so guess what? It rises up. Yours is going to end up in the second position, and mine drops down to the third. Now, the value of this is that if you have a series of questions and people are going, yeah, that's a good question, and they give it the thumbs up, whichever questions rise to the top, those are the ones that you might want to be dealing with. Mm-hmm. Now, your opinion is one thing, but when you consider what does the audience think, that's the highest level of interaction that you have, or the potential interaction is what do the people want to know? What are they concerned with? What do they want the answers to? So here you have a useful tool, but it has limited application. But if you know how to use it, this could be very, very valuable. Does it replace Comment Tracker? Does it replace Comment Stream? No. And but it's still a very good value.
So Vivek is saying in the comment stream, you get notified in the presenter view.
That's correct. And
yeah,
let me see if I can even, let's see if I, maybe, okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing for the moment. And I'm going to share my entire screen with my, let's see, with everything showing there. So the presenter control panel that pops up, the presenter view is this little box over here on the right, I mean on the left. And since we have the slides going and it has a navigator for the slides, and then all of the comments that came up are feeding into the control panel just the same way as they do in the comment page that I send everybody to. So from here, if I want to present something, I can literally say, okay, I'm going to present, since WeWake had the most voted on presentation, I'm going to click this, and you can see what happens in the, maybe not, let's see. Oh yeah, because I'm not presenting the right page. If I go to my slides,
I think you have to go back to your presentation mode to show what that would actually look like. But yeah, I see the concept that you're getting at.
It's not that, it's that I wasn't sharing the right screen. If I go back to the page where everybody is contributing to the production, and I select the production page, then WeWake's statement comes up like this. And you can show his statement, and it's highlighted this big, and then you can follow up with a conversation and unshare it whenever you want to, but at least you can mark that in the video live for the actual presentation and the recording. And this is the closest that it gets to comment tracker. So if we wanted to go along and only use the slideshow for featuring comments that a secondary person wanted to feature, like maybe your assistant for the Hangout or whatever, your assistant for the Hangout could be grabbing the statements that either they want to or that are getting the most votes, and they can copy that via this mechanism right into the Hangout, and you can feature the page. So it's not like clicking the comment tracker feed from the internal Hangout source, but indeed you get the same effect with a little bit more work. So it's not real convenient, but the thing works. And I like this aspect of it, because if you have a control group presenting, and I'm going to go ahead and unshare the screen now. If you have a controlled staff presenting and constructing the actual event itself, this could really work well. It's a lot of work, but it could work very well. So any comments from the people out there? Did I miss anything? Have you have questions to ask? You can ask, not so much in the Q&A, because as WeWake pointed out, they are not saved. There must be a way to archive it. I think there is. And some people ask, well, isn't it saved? And Lon was asking, aren't they saved in Google Sheets or anything? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm too new at this. But I know that the series of questions can at least be captured and perhaps archived. Doesn't make any sense to produce something digital that you can't capture and archive. So we'll look into this. But the main thing to understand is that after the show, at some point, whether it be minutes, seconds, or day, or whatever, these Q&As go away. So either there's a way to save them, or there's a way not to. But to produce this for the live broadcast is something to think about, and so there's some value there. So this is what we've been working with. And in spite of the fact that I've been incommunicado with most of the people and delayed in getting the event posted, and I'm not inviting people very readily, we're developing more and more skills that are improving the way we do Hangouts. So right now, I think the major conquest is that unified chat looks pretty good. So I want your comments from the field in that, and from the green room, and everybody, if you have any last comments about what we've discovered today.
For me, I would say that the Q&A for slides, integrating that with your Hangout, etc., that's not for newbies.
No.
So, agreed. Yeah. So, and the other, the big question I'm still left with is, if using the unified chat inside the live stream, does it get saved within the live stream video? Or I'm thinking that if somebody is watching my Hangout on my website and we've activated the unified chat, then they should be able to put in comments. So
yes,
the question is, when you're, yeah, so you should be able to, as the moderator, you should be able to see the comments that are coming in. This might be the answer.
It's an option. Now, if I were running a show by myself, and obviously as fumbling as I've been doing what I was doing here, you can see that it's, it's a little bit complicated, but it's doable. And if I had an assistant that really knew what he or she was doing, I could probably produce a pretty effective show. And, when they produce a show for TV, you just think how many people are in the studio monitoring the feeds and, checking the sound and doing this and that, and resources and which camera to use. yeah, there's a lot of direction that goes on in the production. But I think that with the minimum of a second person and maybe even a couple, because I can't tell you how valuable having Molly and Karen was. You know, when I have them in the green room and we wanted to use comment tracker or something, sometimes I could get lost in the conversation and they'd be still covering comment tracker for me. So it helps to have people who are versatile. But you know, the way Lon was for one group a while back with Molly with his hangout crowd, he was marked as the unicorn, and they called it the unicorn sighting whenever he showed up. But he was a helpful back end person, helping out with all of the technical stuff in the back end of the hangout. And if you have someone doing this, that can improve your presentation tremendously. So think about the concept of if you're going to have a hangout and produce a show, you may want to develop an assistant of some kind. And not to downgrade someone and say, you don't get to be the star of the show. I mean, because most of the assistants in the shows that I watched were elevated to a pretty notable position, and rightly so, because they're very helpful in the production itself. So we made some stars just by calling in the wingman or the backup person and, you know, naming them like that. But it helps to have backup and helps to have partners. So consider those things. And by the way, I really appreciate the people that showed up and were participating in the chat, giving us an opportunity to try these things out and see how they work. And I was happy to show you the couple things that I discovered that have some value. I think the most valuable is the unified chat. And then the second most valuable is this Google Slides presentation. And although we've lost some things that we cannot replicate, we do have a few tools that are going to boost us as we move forward, that show us that there is going to be a way. We'll make do for now, and somebody was going to show us a better way than we have now.
So Roland, I'm looking on my phone right now, just to see what's popping up there, and certainly the screen share comes through just fine. It shows me there are 9 people watching, and but it does not show the unified chat.
Right. It shows just I think that's because the production is generated from the YouTube resource. How are you watching the show?
Me?
Yeah.
On my phone, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're on the phone, but what are you watching? Are you watching the
I just opened my phone and I've turned it off so that the sound doesn't interrupt here.
I understand, but are you watching a YouTube video? Or are you watching an event page? Are you watching the unified?
It's a YouTube video.
Right. Yeah. So, and that is one thing to be noted. When you use the integrated unified chat, the chat is shown to the viewers on the unified chat page, and in the Hangout we can see the chat, but the actual production and what is saved in YouTube does not include the chat. It's just the video production itself.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So the comment stream is great for the live interacting people, but it's not any effect or any value to the viewer after the event.
I think that goes back to what we were talked about last week in terms of losing that functionality within a live chat. Is since it's on YouTube, YouTube's not really going to integrate comments that are going to happen within a live chat, because the users watching the video, they have the ability to comment after the event has gone live. So, I mean, you still have the ability to comment. It's just those live comments, like you were talking about, they get saved over here with the unified chat. But then once the YouTube video goes, you know, live on YouTube after the recording's ended, then there's still the ability for users watching in Replay City for them to comment as well.
Exactly. And, you know, those things kind of work together, and there's a benefit from all of them. It sounds like no one's actually got the whole menu or the plan correct. completely, but that's why we're piecing these things together to interact and how they make them work. It sounds to me like no matter what we do, we're going to have an additional chat feature from somewhere. Whether you're doing it in WordPress, you're going to have a makeshift chat stream going there, or if Unified Chat provides a way to pop out their chat box and plant it in your website as a plugin, that could happen eventually. But right now, the way technology is, this is about as good as it comes. So anyway, I thank people for showing up today. Roland, thank you for contributing. I was really glad you were able to help out.
My pleasure.
And Molly, of course, even though we couldn't see your smiling face, we got to see your smiling picture. And I wanted to make note, she's got a special green enhancement to her icon because of being a top contributor for Hangouts. that was awarded to her by Google.
Yes.
So
thanks for having me, Roland. Learned a lot, and looking forward to next week's Hangout.
Yep, and maybe in this next week I'll have the insight and the time to actually post the event early in the week. And thank you everybody for participating, and I appreciate that very much. And we're signing off from Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. Good day.